All right, our first step is to glue this ring onto this tube with the little holes at the front. That's the front end. This is a tool that we're going to use to align it, and you'll see that it nests nicely inside so that we get this perpendicular onto this tube. It's a little bit floppy, so that this is going to help us to make sure that it's nice and straight. There's a mark on the tube where this is going to get glued, so I'm going to put that in there like that, and you can see it's, you know, it can't rotate. Then I'm going to slide it into position, and I just want to tack glue it into place. And I'm going to use some thick CA. And it's clogged. Let me get a new tip. All right. All right, so that's glued in there. Make sure it's nice and all right, so okay, this is accelerator. I just took some of this, put it in a little bottle so I can put it on there drop by drop. All right, so you can take this off and set that aside. We're going to put epoxy on that little fillet just to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, so now I've mixed up some epoxy. This is West Systems epoxy with the fast kicker, but the epoxy that you use doesn't really matter. And I'm going to take just a stick, and I'm going to get a little blob of epoxy on there, and then I'm going to go around the perimeter. And then I'm going to take my finger and a glove, and I'm going to smooth that out. All right, and you can do the other side too if you want. Get a paper towel. Always have paper towels handy. Don't want to use a lot of epoxy, we just want enough to bond it. So if you can smooth it out, that's great. And if you get epoxy on the tube, you can just wipe that off. It's not that critical on this section. Okay, this little piece, with it's a little short tube with a ring in the front, it's designed to force the ejection charge back that way. So the ejection charge is going to come out of these little small holes here, and we're going to glue this onto the front of the tube just over the top of those holes. And so the ejection charge is going to come out and go back this way. This is probably going to get burned a little bit, but we're not really concerned about that. I'm going to take some epoxy and just go around the perimeter right here. Just a little bit, It's not going to take much. Okay, just like that. So we're just going to set that a piece aside to harden. Now we're going to take this piece right here with the transition on it, and we're going to take the BT5 or the 13 millimeter paper tube, and it's got this piece in the front, and we're going to just stick it into the tube like that. And then there's this piece, this ring with this short tube glued onto it. And we're going to, you'll see that this indexes into there like that, just like the other one did that we just used previously. It just indexes just like that. And then there's this ring here that slides along the tube. And what we're going to do is we're going to put epoxy around the edge of the ring, and then we're going to glue it in this way so that this tube will come out the bottom, and it should just barely come out of the hole down here at the bottom, just like that. So it's going to come out this way from the inside. So go ahead and put epoxy around the perimeter of it. And then we're going to put it onto this, and then we're going to slide this, and this ring right here centers it up so that it doesn't flop around inside of this tube. So I want to get that ring in there and slide it in, and until it comes out here. All right, that's as far as it goes. I can feel the ring right here. All right, so mine came out a little bit. I'm not sure exactly the length on your tube there. So then you can slide this out. Just check inside that it looks like it's nice and flat in there. You might see a ring of epoxy on the outside. That's okay. Where it comes out here on the bottom, this we just want just a little bit of epoxy because we need to flatten this out later. So if you put too much on, it's going to be really hard to flatten it out. So just a little bit of epoxy on the bottom. And I'm probably going to wipe off most of mine. I just want enough on there to keep it centered. Okay, so now I'm going to wipe it off. Okay, we're going to let that harden too. But before we do, then there's this ring right here. Now, if you look closely, it's flat, and then it transitions or tapers down on one end. This is going to be our tube coupler. That's going to center up this one and this one. So we need to, we're going to join, this is the front, this is the bottom. We're going to join the two together, but we're going to do it with this ring right here. And we're going to bond that in first, and we're going to do it into this bottom side right here. So just put this one off to the side. We're not going to use this one until all the epoxy's hard. And first, the part that is kind of cone shaped, that's going to go towards the front. So when we put this in, it's flexible enough where you can put it in and kind of get it started. Okay. And then we want to have the part that cones a little bit sticking out. It's going to be just like that. Hopefully you can see that. And this will allow us later to put this one on. So what I'm going to do is put epoxy around here and then bond it together. Morning. Okay, I think I'll put a little bit of epoxy just on this part. Just a little bit, just enough to, on the very, very edge. Okay, so once it's in, try to make sure, kind of spin it around, make sure that it looks straight. And then the tapered part is forward. And what we'd really like to have is just a little bit of the cylinder part sticking out so that when we bring the two together, it aligns everything nice and center, so that our tube is nice and straight, because we have to make sure the tubes are straight, so when you roll them along a table, they will roll without wobbling. But for right now, we just want to make sure it's nice and straight and in there. So I want to pull it out just a little bit. Okay, if you got epoxy on the outside, now is the time to wipe it off. And if there's a lot, use a little bit of rubbing alcohol to take it off. Mine looks pretty good. All right, so we're gonna let everything harden for right now. We're done with these tools. All they were is to make sure everything was aligned in here. So at this point, we're looking pretty good.